AITA for breaking up with my girlfriend after her public proposal turned into a trap? I'm Troy, 36, and after almost 6 years with Marissa, I knew exactly how she took her coffee, which hoodie she stole from me every winter, and how fast a private disagreement could turn into a group chat trial if I didn't apologize quickly enough. I used to tell myself that was just how she handled emotions. Then she proposed to me in front of everyone we knew and laughed when I refused to play along. For a long time, I really thought Marissa and I were building toward marriage. Not in a movie scene way. Not in a giant sign, violin player, everyone clapping kind of way. I mean the normal kind. Shared groceries. Half-finished conversations while one of us brushed our teeth. Knowing which side of the couch the other person claimed without thinking. Arguing over the thermostat, then making up over takeout because neither of us wanted to cook. I loved her. I won't rewrite history and say I didn't. There were good years. There were mornings when she would leave a cup of coffee on the counter for me before I even got out of the shower. There were winter nights when she'd pull on my old gray hoodie and tuck her feet under my leg like I was furniture. There were times when she knew exactly what to say when I was tired and trying not to show it. But Marissa had this other side that I didn't know how to name at first. She needed an audience. At the beginning, I thought it was harmless. She liked posting photos of us. She liked captions about real love and choosing each other every day. If I bought her flowers, she didn't just put them in water. She took 7 pictures, picked one, added a soft filter, and posted it with a paragraph about how men should still know how to romance their women. I didn't love being online, but I told myself it made her happy. Then it started showing up in arguments. If I forgot to text her when I got somewhere, she would post something vague like, "It costs $0 to make someone feel cared for." 10 minutes later, Kendall would text me, "Hey, everything okay with you and Marissa?" If I said I didn't want to go out because I was exhausted, she'd mention it in the friend group chat like, "Guess we're not coming. Troy says he's too tired again." Then someone would send a sad face or a joke about me being boring, and suddenly I wasn't just choosing a quiet night. I was ruining everyone's plans. If we had a disagreement about money, family, holidays, anything, there was always a way it became public enough for me to feel outnumbered. She called it transparency. I called it exhausting, but usually only in my head. The first time I said it out loud, we were sitting at the kitchen table with 2 cold plates between us. She had posted a video that morning of me looking annoyed while assembling a shelf. The caption said, "When he says he's handy but needs emotional support for 4 screws." I know that sounds small, and maybe by itself it was. But I had asked her not to record me that day. I had been frustrated, sweaty, and not in the mood to be someone's content. "Can you take that down?" I asked. She looked up from her phone like I had interrupted something important. "It's a joke." "I know. I'm asking you to take it down. You're being sensitive." "I'm being serious." She sighed, rolled her eyes, and said, "Fine. I'll delete it since apparently I'm not allowed to share my life." "My life is in it too," I said. She didn't answer. She took it down, but by then her friends had already commented. For the rest of the day, she acted like I had embarrassed her instead of the other way around. That was the pattern. She would push something past what I was comfortable with. I would object. She would act wounded. Then I would feel guilty for having a boundary. Marriage had come up before. Not constantly, but enough. We had talked about rings in a casual way. We had talked about what kind of wedding we'd want if we ever had one. I told her I didn't want anything huge. She told me she wanted a moment people would remember. One night, while we were folding laundry, she showed me a video on her phone. Some guy had proposed to his girlfriend in the middle of a restaurant. Everyone cheered. The girlfriend cried. The comments were full of strangers saying they wished someone loved them that loudly. Marissa watched my face instead of the video. "What?" I asked. "You didn't smile." "I'm happy for them," I said. "I just wouldn't want that." She laughed. "You wouldn't want someone making a big romantic gesture?" "I wouldn't want a private decision turned into a public vote." That's such a Troy way to say it. I mean it. She tossed one of my shirts onto the bed. "So what? I'm supposed to sit quietly while you eventually decide whether I'm worth choosing?" That's not what I said. It kind of is. I stopped folding. "Marissa, listen to me. If we ever get engaged, I want it to be between us. Not because a room full of people is clapping and I feel cornered." She smiled like I was being dramatic. "Nobody can make you do anything." "That's exactly why I'm telling you now. Don't ever put me in a position where the crowd answers before I do. She didn't like that sentence. I could see it in the way her smile tightened. For a few days afterward, she made little comments. Some people hate romance. Some people need everything to feel like a contract. Imagine being scared of happy attention. I let most of it go, because I had learned that defending myself too much only gave her more material. About 3 weeks before everything blew up, she asked me another question while we were driving back from dinner. Would you ever say no if the whole room was rooting for us? I glanced over. Why are you asking that? I'm just curious. That sounds like a setup. She laughed. It's not. I just think if everyone who loves you is there, it means something. It means they're watching. That's so cynical. No, it's honest. She turned toward the window and went quiet in that way that meant I was supposed to chase her feelings. I didn't that time. I drove the rest of the way with the radio low and a heavy feeling in my chest I couldn't explain. Then came Kendall's text. Kendall was one of our mutual friends, though she was definitely closer to Marissa. They had known each other longer, and Kendall had a habit of acting like Marissa's emotional interpreter. On a Wednesday afternoon, my phone buzzed while I was rinsing a coffee mug. Kendall, are we still doing the fake surprise thing Saturday? I stared at it longer than I should have. Before I could respond, another message came through. Kendall, sorry wrong Troy LOL. There was no other Troy in our circle. I typed back, fake surprise thing? She replied almost immediately. Kendall, birthday prank for my cousin. Ignore me. My brain is fried. I didn't believe her, but I also didn't know what to do with it. Saturday was supposed to be a casual gathering at Ryan's place. Ryan was Marissa's younger brother. He liked hosting because he liked having people in his kitchen, music too loud, everyone eating chips out of the bag and talking over each other. When I asked Marissa about Saturday, she said, just a normal hangout. My mom might stop by. Kendall and Marcus are coming. A few others. Anything special happening? I asked. Her eyes flicked up from her phone. No. What? No reason. She looked at me for half a second too long. You're being weird. Just asking. She smiled, but it wasn't warm. You hate surprises, remember? That should have been enough for me to stay home. But when you've spent years being told you overthink everything, you start doubting your own alarm bells. So I went. The first thing I noticed was that Marissa was dressed too carefully for a casual night. She had on a dark green dress I'd only seen her wear twice before, her hair curled, makeup perfect. She said she just felt like looking nice. The second thing I noticed was the phones. People always had phones out, so at first I told myself I was being paranoid. But that night, they weren't scrolling. They were waiting. Ryan had his phone face down on the counter, but his hand kept hovering near it. Kendall was whispering with Denise, Marissa's mother, near the sliding door. A couple of friends were already standing in the living room instead of the kitchen like they knew something was supposed to happen there. Marcus came up beside me with a beer in his hand and said, You good? Do people seem weird tonight? I asked. He looked around. A little. I thought maybe I missed a memo. That made my stomach tighten. Ryan clapped his hands around 8:30 and said, Everybody, living room for a second. Marissa wants to say something. I felt the blood leave my face. Marissa took my hand before I could move. Her palm was warm. Mine was cold. What are you doing? I asked under my breath. She smiled up at me. Just trust me. People formed a loose half circle around us. Someone turned the music down. I saw at least 4 phones come up. Kendall's eyes were shiny like she was about to cry, but she was smiling too hard. Marissa stepped back. Then she got down on one knee. For a second, the room made a sound I can still hear when I think about it. A gasp, a few laughs, one person saying, Oh my God, and then clapping before I had said a single word. Marissa opened a small ring box. The ring was simple, silver-toned, probably from a mall jewelry store or ordered online. It wasn't about the ring. It was never about the ring. Troy, she said, voice shaking in the way people shake when they know they're being recorded. Will you finally choose me the way I've always chosen you? Someone yelled, Say yes. Then another person started chanting it. Say yes. Say yes. My whole body went numb. I wasn't thinking, do I love her? I wasn't thinking, do I want marriage someday? I was thinking, I told her. I told her this was the one thing I never wanted. I leaned down slightly and kept my voice low. Please stand up. We need to talk away from everyone. Her smile didn't move, but her eyes changed. Troy, she whispered, still holding the ring box toward me. Don't do this to me right now. I'm not doing this in front of everyone. The room got quieter, but the phone stayed up. Marissa's voice turned sharp under the sweetness. You're embarrassing me. I asked you not to do this. Her cheeks flushed. I'm asking you to marry me. No, I said. You're asking me to perform. A few people muttered. Denise put a hand over her mouth like I had slapped her daughter. Ryan lowered his phone, then raised it again when he realized the scene was getting worse. Marissa's smile broke. Are you serious? I took a step back. I'm not saying no to marriage. I said. I'm saying no to this. And I'm done. The room went dead silent. For 1 second, I saw something in Marissa's face that looked almost like panic. Then it disappeared. She stood up slowly, snapped the ring box shut, and laughed. Not a broken laugh. Not a shocked laugh. A cold little laugh, like I had just proven something for her. You'll come crawling back, she said loud enough for everyone to hear, when you realize nobody else would ever do this for you. That laugh bothered me more than the proposal. I looked around the room. Some people looked horrified. Some looked angry at me. Marcus looked confused. Kendall was staring at the floor. Denise was already moving toward Marissa, wrapping an arm around her like she was the only person who had been hurt. I didn't argue. I didn't explain. I didn't give the room another clip. I grabbed my jacket from the back of a chair and walked out. My phone started buzzing before I got to my car. I didn't read anything until I was parked outside my place with my hands still on the steering wheel. The first message was from Ryan. Ryan, bro, that was cold. Then Kendall. Kendall, I know you were overwhelmed, but you humiliated her. Then Denise. Denise, 6 years, and you couldn't show my daughter basic kindness. Shame on you. Then the group chat exploded. You couldn't just say yes and talk privately later? Marissa is destroyed. That was cruel, man. I'm staying out of this, but wow. Did something happen before this? Ryan added a thumbs-up reaction to the message calling me cruel. Marissa didn't text me that night. That told me more than any message could have. The next morning, I woke up to 27 notifications and a video already circulating through our circle. It was Marissa's version. The clip started with her on one knee. It showed her little speech. It showed my face looking frozen. Then it jumped straight to me saying, I'm saying no to this. And I'm done. It cut out me asking her to stand up. It cut out me saying we needed to talk away from everyone. It cut out her whispering that I was embarrassing her. It cut out the chanting. She had added emotional piano music in the background, the kind people use for rescue dog videos and breakup posts. The caption said, when you give someone your whole heart and they show you who they really are. In her version, I looked like a man stepping over someone's heart. In the real version, I was asking not to be trapped. I sat on the edge of my bed and watched it twice. Then I saved it. Not because I wanted to keep hurting myself. Because I knew Marissa. The first story people hear is the one they defend. So I started saving everything. Screenshots with dates visible. Messages from Denise. Ryan's posts. Kendall's comments. The clipped video. The group chat reactions. A voice note from one of Marissa's cousins saying, you could have just said yes in public and dealt with it later like a decent man. That line stuck with me. Say yes in public. Deal with it later. In other words, lie for the audience and pay for it in private. Around noon, Marcus called me. I almost didn't answer. Marcus was my closest friend in that group, but even he had sent one message that morning that said, I don't get what happened, man. I answered anyway. He didn't open with judgment. He said, was there more before the part in the video? I closed my eyes. Yes. I figured. What changed your mind? He hesitated. Because you looked trapped before you looked angry. That was the first time all day I felt like I could breathe. I told him exactly what happened. Not dramatically. Not with insults. I told him I had asked her not to do public proposal stuff before. I told him about Kendall's weird text. I told him about the chanting and the phones. Marcus was quiet for a while. Then he said, I'm sorry. I should have asked before I judged. You weren't the loudest one. Doesn't matter. That night, he sent me a screenshot. His message said, I don't want to be involved, but you should see this. The screenshot was from a side chat I wasn't in. It looked like Marcus had been added by mistake weeks earlier and had muted it. The messages were from Marissa, Kendall, Ryan, and 2 others. Marissa, he keeps acting like public proposals are some nightmare. He needs a push. Kendall, we thought it would be romantic. Like once he sees everyone there, he'll get it. Ryan, if he says no, that's on him. Kendall, I mean, if he says no, at least people will finally see how emotionally unavailable he is. Then Marissa. Marissa, exactly. If he says no, he'll look like the villain. Either way, I'll know what I need to do. I read that last message 5 times. Either way, that was the moment the breakup stopped feeling like a disaster and started feeling like an escape. Because the proposal wasn't just a bad idea. It wasn't just Marissa getting swept up in what she thought was romantic. She had built it with 2 endings. If I said yes, she got the public victory and the engagement story she wanted. If I said no, she got the victim story. Both versions required me to lose control of my own life. I didn't respond right away. I opened my old messages with Marissa instead. There it was from months earlier. Me. I'm serious. No public proposal stuff. I would hate being put on the spot like that. Marissa. You make romance sound like a hostage situation, lol. Me. I'm not joking. I want that kind of decision private. Marissa. Fine, Mr. Privacy. Then another from a few weeks later after she sent me another viral proposal reel. Me. That would be my nightmare. Marissa. Your nightmare is a woman loving you loudly? Me. My nightmare is a crowd being used as pressure. Marissa. You're impossible sometimes. I screenshotted those too. By the time I was done, I had a folder on my laptop with dates, screenshots, videos, and a document titled Timeline. I hated how formal it felt, but I also knew that messy truth gets buried under clean lies. I wrote everything in order. The conversations where I clearly said no public proposal. Kindle's accidental text. The side chat. The night of the gathering. Marissa's edited video. The messages from people telling me I should have lied in public. A few hours later, I received an email from Marcus with an attachment. It was a video taken by one of his friends from the side of the room. Not Marissa's edited clip. The full thing. It showed me leaning down and saying, "Please stand up. We need to talk away from everyone." It showed Marissa still smiling toward the phones. It showed me saying, "I asked you not to do this." It showed her whispering, "Don't do this to me right now." It showed the chant starting before I answered. I saved that too. Then I sent Marissa one message. Me. You didn't propose to marry me. You proposed to trap me. Do not contact me again unless it is about exchanging belongings. She answered within 30 seconds. Marissa, wow. So now I'm a monster because I loved you? I didn't reply. Marissa, you're really going to throw away 6 years over one emotional moment? I didn't reply. Marissa, everyone sees you now. I blocked her. I didn't block her mother yet, which was a mistake. Denise called me 3 times that evening. I ignored the first 2. On the third, I answered because some old part of me still thought I owed everyone an explanation. She didn't say hello. You broke my daughter, she said. Denise, I'm not discussing this with you. You don't get to hide after humiliating her. I didn't plan that room. I didn't ask people to record. I didn't post an edited video. You could have been kind. I tried to speak privately. She was proposing, Troy. She knew I didn't want a public proposal. Denise scoffed. Men say all kinds of things when they're afraid of growing up. That sentence made something in me go still. I'm not afraid of commitment, I said. I'm afraid of marrying someone who thinks pressure is love. She went quiet, then said, You sound rehearsed. No, I sound done. I hung up and blocked her too. For 2 days, I didn't post anything. I didn't defend myself publicly. I didn't send the screenshots into the group chat, though every petty part of me wanted to. Instead, I asked Marcus if he would handle the belongings exchange. He said yes immediately. She's going to hate that, he said. I know. She wants access to you. I know that too. On the 3rd morning, my phone lit up with a link from someone I hadn't talked to in months. Message, dude. Is this about you? It was a clip from a local morning radio show. Dana and Cole. I had heard them before in passing. They did light segments, weird caller stories, relationship debates, the kind of thing people sent around while pretending they didn't love drama. That morning's segment was about worst proposal stories. I clicked the link and heard Marissa's voice. At first, she sounded soft, wounded, controlled. We were together almost 6 years, she said. I thought we were building a life. I planned this beautiful proposal with our friends and family, and he looked at me like I was nothing. Dana made a sympathetic sound. Oh, Marissa. Cole said, That's brutal. Did he give you a reason? He said he was done, Marissa said, voice shaking. In front of everyone. He walked away like 6 years meant nothing. I sat at my kitchen table, staring at my laptop, listening to the woman who had laughed in my face perform heartbreak for strangers. Then Dana asked, "What would you say if Troy is listening right now?" Marissa sniffed. "I would say, Troy, please just forgive me. I only did it because I love you. I wanted you to see that everyone believed in us. I wanted you to stop being scared." Her voice rose. "I know you're embarrassed, but I'm embarrassed too. You don't have to punish me forever. Please, just call me. Please." Then she started crying harder. Except it didn't feel like she was talking to me. She was talking to the audience. Again, my hands were shaking, but not from the same panic I had felt at the party. This was something colder. I opened my email and found the station's contact page. I didn't call in. I didn't want to become the angry ex-boyfriend yelling over a crying woman on live radio. That was the box she wanted me in. I wrote a short message to the producer. "My name is Troy. I am the person being discussed by your caller Marissa during the proposal segment. I am not asking you to attack her or read private messages on air. I am asking you not to present an edited story as truth." Attached are screenshots showing that I repeatedly told her I did not want a public proposal, that she discussed using a refusal to make me look like the villain, and that the video circulating was edited to remove my request to speak privately. I attached only what mattered. The public proposal boundary texts. Kendall's accidental message. The side chat lines. A short clip from the uncut video where I asked Marissa to stand up and talk away from everyone. Then I sent it. I didn't expect anything to happen. I thought maybe the producer would read it later, shrug, and move on because messy relationship stories were good radio. But about 15 minutes later, while the segment was still going, Cole's tone changed. "We're back with Marissa, who called in about a proposal rejection that has apparently been making the rounds in her personal circle," he said. "Marissa, we're not here to expose private messages, but we do need to ask something." There was a pause. Dana's voice came in, softer now. "Did Troy ever tell you he didn't want a public proposal?" Silence. Not radio silence. Marissa silence. I knew it instantly. The kind where she was rearranging the truth in her head and deciding which version made her look best. Cole said, "Marissa?" She gave a small laugh. "I mean, he said things. Everybody says things." Dana said, "That's a pretty important detail to leave out." "He didn't say it like some serious boundary," Marissa snapped. "He made jokes. He always makes things difficult." I leaned back in my chair. There she was. Not crying now. Dana stayed calm. "So he had told you he would be uncomfortable with that kind of proposal?" "He needed a push," Marissa said. The second she said it, I knew the room wherever she was had changed. Cole said, "A push into marriage?" "No, don't twist my words," she said quickly. "Some people never move unless you push them." He was wasting my time. Everyone knew it. I was trying to show him love. Dana said, "But if someone tells you they don't want a public proposal, doing it publicly puts pressure on them." "Oh my God," Marissa said. "Now I'm the bad guy for wanting commitment." Cole's voice lost the morning show brightness. "Nobody said that. You're attacking me. This is exactly what he does. He makes me look crazy when I'm the only one who cared enough to fight for us." The clip ended a few minutes later after Dana said they were going to take a break. I just sat there. No victory music. No rush of happiness. No movie moment where I pumped my fist. I felt tired. But I also felt something I hadn't felt in days. I felt believed. By noon, the second radio clip was spreading faster than Marissa's proposal video. Not because I posted it. I didn't. Other people did what people always do when drama flips direction. They shared it with commentary. Wait, she knew he didn't want it? Some people need a push is wild. This sounds less romantic now. The group chat that had been so loud about my cruelty got strangely quiet. One person left without saying anything. Someone deleted their message calling me cold. Ryan posted, "Everybody needs to chill," which was rich coming from the guy who had shared the edited video with 3 laughing emojis before deciding peace was important. Then Marcus wrote in the chat, "There's more context than the edited video showed. I'm not doing a pile-on either way, but stop sharing that clip like it's the full story." Kendall didn't say anything for 6 hours. Then she texted me privately. "Kendall, I'm sorry." I stared at those 2 words and felt nothing. A minute later, another message came in. "Kendall, we thought it would be romantic." Then another. "Kendall, she said you'd never take the next step unless someone helped." Then another. "Kendall, I didn't think of it like that until I heard her say it out loud." I typed back one sentence. "Me, You helped put me in a room where my real answer was never supposed to matter. She didn't respond for a while. Then she wrote, "You're right. I'm sorry. I didn't forgive her. Not then." Denise sent an apology too, if it could be called that. "Denise, I'm sorry emotions were heightened and things got out of hand. I still think you could have handled the moment with more care, but I see now that Marissa should have listened." I didn't answer. Some apologies are just people trying to step away from the mess without admitting they helped make it. That afternoon, Marissa found a way around being blocked. She used a friend's phone. Unknown number. "You really sent private messages to a radio station? Are you proud of yourself?" I knew it was her immediately. "Me. Stop contacting me." Unknown number. "You ruined my life over one mistake." Me. "It wasn't one mistake. It was a strategy." Unknown number. "I loved you." Me. "Love doesn't need a trap." Then I blocked that number too. That evening, I posted one public statement. Not a long revenge post. Not every screenshot. Not the side chat in full. Just enough. I wrote, "I did not end a relationship because I was afraid of commitment. I ended it because a boundary I had clearly stated more than once was turned into a public trap. I asked to speak privately during the proposal." That part was removed from the video being shared. Please stop sharing an edited video of a private breakup. I included 3 images. One screenshot where I had told Marissa months earlier that I did not want a public proposal. One still from the uncut video showing me leaning down asking her to stand up. One message from the side chat with the line, "If he says no, he'll look like the villain," with names and unrelated messages cropped out. I didn't call her names. I didn't tell people to attack her. I turned off comments after 20 minutes because I didn't want my life turned into another performance. But the damage to her version had already been done. People didn't all rush to my side. Real life doesn't work that cleanly. Some friends apologized privately because they were too embarrassed to do it where everyone could see. Some went silent and pretended they had never said anything. A couple doubled down and said I was still wrong for breaking up with her in public, as if I had chosen the venue. One person messaged, "I get your point, but you have to admit she was hurt." I replied, "Being hurt doesn't make the setup okay." Then I stopped explaining. Marcus handled the belongings exchanged 2 days later. Marissa packed my things into 2 cardboard boxes. My gray hoodie was on top, the one she used to steal every winter. It smelled like her perfume, which hit me harder than I expected. Under it were a phone charger, a few books, a framed photo from a beach trip, and my spare key in a sandwich bag like it was evidence. Maybe it was. Marcus handed me the boxes in a parking lot and looked miserable. "She tried to give me the ring box too," he said. "Why?" "She said you should have to look at what you threw away." I almost laughed. "Keep it away from me." I did. "Thank you." He leaned against his car and rubbed his forehead. "For what it's worth, I'm really sorry. I know. I should have shut it down earlier. You didn't know everything. I knew enough to ask questions." That was the difference between Marcus and a lot of other people. He didn't try to make his guilt smaller. I took the boxes home and unpacked them slowly. The hoodie went into the wash. The spare key went into a drawer until I could change the lock. The framed photo sat on the counter for a long time. In it, Marissa had her chin on my shoulder, and I was squinting into the sun. We looked happy because we had been happy that day. That was the strange part. The bad ending didn't erase every good memory. It just made me understand that good memories are not a contract to keep accepting harm. I threw the frame away, but I kept the photo in a folder with other old pictures. I didn't need to pretend 6 years had been nothing. I just didn't want the past sitting on my counter like it still had a vote. For the next week, Marissa tried every door she could find. An email with the subject line, "Please read." A message through Kindle. A voice note from Ryan saying, "She's not doing good, man." Another unknown number. Then a long email from Marissa that started with, "I'm sorry if you felt pressured," and ended with, "You let strangers turn you against me." That was Marissa in one sentence. An apology with a hook in it. I didn't respond. I sent one final message through Marcus. "All belongings have been exchanged. Do not contact me directly or through other people. If the edited video continues being shared with my name attached, I will release the fuller timeline. Otherwise, I'm done." After that, I left 3 group chats. The main friend chat. The smaller weekend hangout chat. The ridiculous one that had been created for a barbecue 2 years earlier and somehow became the place everyone sent memes and judgment. Before I left the main one, I saw Kindle typing. Then she stopped. Then Marcus wrote, "Respect his space." I closed the app and deleted the shortcut from my home screen. The quiet after that was uncomfortable at first. I had gotten used to noise, to reactions, to waiting for someone else's version of events to decide what kind of person I was that day. Without it, my apartment felt too still. My phone felt too light. Even my mornings felt strange because there was no message from Marissa about coffee, traffic, a dream she had, a reel I needed to watch, or some emotional weather report I was supposed to manage. I missed her sometimes. That's the part people don't like in stories like this. They want clean feelings. They want the villain to be so awful that walking away feels easy. It wasn't easy. I missed the woman who knew my coffee order. I missed the woman who stole my hoodie. I missed the version of us where Saturday mornings meant burnt toast and laughing at dumb videos in bed. But I did not miss being cornered. I did not miss having private arguments turned into public polls. I did not miss feeling like love was something I had to prove under observation. A few weeks later, Marcus came over with takeout. We ate at my kitchen table, the same table where I had built the timeline that gave me my voice back. He asked, "Do you think you'll ever want to get married?" I thought about it longer than I expected. "Yeah," I said. "I think so." He looked relieved for some reason. "Really? I never hated marriage." "Just proposals?" I smiled a little. "Just traps." The full evidence folder is still on my laptop. I hope I never have to open it again. I didn't keep it because I want revenge. I kept it because I learned what happens when someone who loves an audience gets to edit the only copy of the truth. Marissa wanted a crowd to decide my future. For almost 6 years, I kept confusing silence with patience. I kept thinking that if I stayed calm enough, fair enough, loving enough, she would stop needing witnesses for every feeling. But love is not a performance review. Commitment is not something you force by surrounding someone with cameras. And a proposal is not romantic just because people clap. The last thing I heard about Marissa was that she told someone I had changed. Maybe I did. I stopped explaining boundaries like they were requests. I stopped apologizing for not playing along. And when the crowd finally went quiet, I chose my own answer. If you like the stories, don't forget to leave a comment and support the channel by subscribing. See you in the upcoming stories.